Hey everybody, how you doing? As you can see, it's a beautiful snowy day in Cowtown. Sorry it's been a while since I posted, been busy at work. In this episode, I'm going to get the deck done and get it all sandwiched in with the 1.5 inch installation in the middle, and then I get a good start on the wall.
So here's a
hope you
couple
enjoy.
of my other buys. This is going to be the top half. It's 1/2 inch plywood. Then I'm going to put, after I put in my framing, so I'm kind of stick framing it. I haven't decided whether I'm going to go 16s or 24s. But this is the insulation I'm putting in between. Okay, it's foam. And it has this reflective material on both sides. Hopefully you can see that. It's so bright out here I can't tell. I think it's an R7.5, but I'll make sure of that. And like I said, it has a reflective vapor barrier all built in. And for the base of the trailer, I think that's going to be awesome. For the outside walls, I'm going to try to slide this out of the way for you. This is 3/8 Crazone. I'll put a picture and kind of let you know what it's like. I've and stuff like that. So I still haven't decided what I'm going to do for the outside of the trailer. But what's cool is this stuff is rated exterior. When I screw, you know, I'll do PL plus I'll staple, which is quick, but I also screw down. Then in the screw holes, because it's exterior, what I do is I use the same stuff, body filler, okay, Bondo, and it's hard as rock. Weather doesn't affect it or anything. So if I wanted to, you can see how smooth this stuff is. Okay, so just a quick video because I'm using PL Premium Fast Grab. The whole chassis on the top has been dabbed in that stuff. I put the biscuits, hopefully you can see that, in with glue. Now I'm about to put glue on the other side here and put it all together and screw it from the bottom with number 10 3/4 inch screws. So I finished mounting the deck of the trailer. I'm underneath it. I don't know how well this is going to show, but you can see in the corners of the gussets, then in the center, the glue gushing out. Anyone who's ever worked with PL Premium, that stuff will rip the wood apart before anything else. So okay, so that's underneath. The outer frame done. Now I'm trying to decide is what I want to frame it on, because I'm using rigid foam. I was gonna go 16s, but that really doesn't make any sense. So I'm gonna go minimum 24s, and I may span it more than that. But I'm gonna go outside and go get the foam and kind of see how rigid it is, what I think I can get away with. But because I framed the whole trailer on 24s, I think I'm going to do the same. So I decided to frame this out 24 inches on center like I did my my trailer underneath. So this rigid foam has this silver part on both sides. So what I use, I could use a table saw, but basically the quickest way for the 3 pieces that I need for this, I use this instead of my meter stick, and the reason is because it has a high shoulder on it. It'll keep my blade really nice and straight, and I'll slide in the insulation, and then I'll slide in my stick tight to it, glue it, and nail her down, and then I'm ready for the top. So there you have it. Matter of maybe a minute to have that piece cut. Slid my other piece in. Obviously for good practice, I've put this to this side because that's where my joint is for my plywood going the length. I'm going to be going underneath with the mastic seam sealer and hitting that to make sure that doesn't leak. But just good practice. It has the shiny stuff. It's waterproof, vapor barrier. So there you have it. I just got to finish it off and put the deck on. Okay, so here it is all done. It took me with a straight edge and a broad knife, not broad knife, Wolfel knife. probably 20 minutes to do this, and it's hard to see, but fit and finish, I really like everything turned out nice and tight, even on these seams here as well. But the only thing is the silver doesn't come down all the way on a lot of it, but like big deal by the time it's sandwiched between another sheet of plywood, 1/2 inch I'm putting on top. Like I said, I can run some tuck tape down there, but just the seams you get with this stuff, the seal is unbelievable. So I'll definitely be using this in the walls, because I think so. We got our next sheet of plywood on. I decided to run these, the base layer is running this way, and that's why I had that joint out here, and I used biscuit joints to join it together and glue. And just for strength, I decided not only with the PL, but I'd run these ones this way, and then the joint lands on my framing right about here. So just like stick framing. The last thing is, I don't know, it's just me if I'm being anal or not, but this base layer, I don't know if you can see it. So that 3/4 is glued and screwed, so PL'd. This is glued and screwed to this, and this is glued and screwed to this, but I decided to use longer because I had them laying around. And I don't know if you can see that. It basically makes one massive sandwich, so I'm really happy with that. Okay, everybody, so we're rocking and rolling. We got the entire deck on, and now the fun part, I get to lay out what my walls are going to look like. So basically the body of the entire camper. I'm excited for this. Okay, sports fans, so now I'm at the point where I'm laying out my walls. This will be the front top. I'm cutting it at an angle. I'm trying to decide how far down. You can see me bringing it down for framing slash the room I'll need for the stargazer window. So I'm using either a 9-inch wide or 10-inch wide by 40 or 48-inch wide window in the front of the trailer. And you can see I'm laying out for where my framing is going to be, and then my doors. What I'm going to do next, though, is I said in one of my previous videos is going to show you guys how I make cuts in my straight edges. So instead of just clamping something down, I kind of make my own little track system, almost like those track saws, the plunge saws, but not quite the same, just with a regular skill saw, but it works just as good for me anyway. So I'll show you that next. Hey there, Mabby, who got the daddy's pencil. Okay, so here's where I'm at. I took that old sheet of plywood that I had. It has one really good factory edge. I just cut this. Looks pretty good, but I cut this with a skill saw. Put my fresh blade that I wanted on it, so you got to cut a little slower. It has 60 teeth, but it does a really nice job finishing, as you can see. Now basically all you gotta do is, the big thing is make sure you cut this wide enough so it won't flex back and forth, okay? You can go out and buy some baseboard molding, whatever you want for this. So now all I'm going to do is glue it, screw it to this, and then all I do is I take my skill saw, run it across this edge, and it'll cut off the perfect straight edge for me. And I'll show you what I do with it. I also forgot to mention that you want to snap a chalk line to follow on the straight edge side that your saw. Okay, so before you make this final cut, I'm already done, but don't forget to square up your saw, okay? Make sure it's nice and square. Now this cut's done, and because I used a chalk line, this board is beautifully straight, which in turn, when I ran my saw down, makes an absolutely perfect straight line. So now when I'm cutting anything, all I do is I go to my piece and say I'm going to make one of these at 4 feet as well. So say this piece where I'm going to put the stargazer window, all I do is make my mark in where I need it, this is where the saw is going to cut to, so I'll flip this piece around, clamp it to that, and run my saw over it, and it's in the perfect spot every time. And you can clamp these. I've double-sided taped them. I put rubber on one side so it doesn't slip. They work perfect, and I'll show you when I'm using it on the actual trailer. Okay, so I'm about 20 or 30 minutes into laying this out, and I know it's hard to see because of these. I'm using my phone, sorry. But if you look at that, what I decided was I'm going to go with a 36-inch tall door. My memory mattress, or the mattress, is 4 inches, so I went 5 inches up for the door, because by the time you put your sleeping bags or whatever else you put on there. I also went 30 inches wide. Now that's wider than most. I was going to buy the doors, but at $300 and some American a piece, and being that you can pay more for the wider ones, I wanted minimum 30 inches wide for me. Like I said, I'm 6'3", 240-ish, so I don't want any little dinky doors. So
that's it for now. One good thing is I got a really good beat on the camper walls themselves. I've been working a lot on it lately, so hopefully we won't have to wait so long for the next video. Hopefully mid next week.